Well, hey there, everybody. This is David from My Metal Today, and I have been talking to a bunch of bands who are going to be playing Grillfest, which is taking place in mid-September in Utah. And today I'm with Massachusetts-based band Adamantis, and I'm going to hand it over to each of them, and I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves.
Cool. Well, I guess let me start, and then maybe I'll pass it around, and I will take the privilege of starting since I'm the only remaining kind of founding quote-unquote member of the band. So let me run that. So my name is Evgeny Gromovoy. As I said, I'm the drummer and the founding member, remaining founding member of Adamantis, and happy to be here. I'll pass it to Vance.
Hey, I'm Vance. I've been in Adamantis now for 3 years, maybe. Give or take.
Sounds about right.
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, I had seen Adamantis a couple times, even like prior to joining, and there's not a lot of power metal in New England, and so I was just a fan of the band, even like back in the day. And when I heard they were looking for a guitar player, I'm like, let's go. I just like riffs and beer. That's my. Pass to Alex.
Yeah. What up? I'm Alex. I play bass for Adamantis. I came in just about the same time Vance did. He needed somebody who also enjoyed riffs and beer, and that was an easy choice. And we got Jeff.
I'm Jeff. I'm the singer. I've been with Adamantis about 6 years. Yeah, 2020. I like beers.
Riffs are tolerable, you know.
Riffs are cool. As long as I can sing one.
We're a total package with all of us, all right? We got 3 riffy boys and 2 melody-focused people. Yeah. Like, it comes together. Together. Not pictured is the newest member, Connor. He plays guitar and definitely has, like, a very specific power metal focus. Yeah. So, he's new to the band. That's the direction we're heading in. Pretty hyped to have him in the band.
I hear he's teaching today.
In Pennsylvania, Erie, many miles away from the rest of us. So we appreciate the time we can squeeze out of it.
Oh, cool. And we'll miss him. I hear he's actually teaching today, so he's not able to make it. So good for him to be doing some cool musical teaching, even though we will miss having him here. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for your introductions. I think the TLDR from just the get-go in this interview is this band likes metal and beer, and apparently Alex doesn't mind likes not wearing a shirt on camera. So
it's hot, man. It's
happen in Utah. Like I don't see a lot of shirt time occurring at the festival, so I just we can embrace everybody for what they're in for.
He's the band stripper.
Yes, yeah. Resident bass slut.
He keeps it sexy on stage, Someone's got to do it.
There's the tagline. Adamantis, keeping it sexy on stage. I love it.
We're not bringing sexy back. It never went anywhere. All right, we're just maintaining at a nice even level.
I mean, who? Come on, in power metal, who doesn't like a shirtless guy with a sword? Come on, this is like
This is true.
Like we've been fed on like with a spoon, right?
Guy with the sword, but it's
Right,
definitely
right.
the dudes that.
And we bring them swords on stage, though. If you see our show, we always bring the sword, at least 2 swords, sometimes even 3, but most of the time 2. So.
Well, now that we're talking about shirtless dudes with swords, let's talk about the origin story of Adamantis. Like, how did the band get started?
Yeah, well,
Did we cross
yeah,
out?
right. Well, actually, let me take on that one since again, I started the band in 2011 with my friend Javier Estrada, who has been writing for Adamantis all up until the last album, and unfortunately he had to move to Barcelona last year. And Jeff Taft. And so Jeff Taft, some of the readers or listeners may know, as he later moved on to start his own band called Owlbear, and I really, appreciate and love that band big time. So that's how we started. We essentially wanted to play power metal in the Boston area. Like Javier and I were looking for a place to jam, and we just like the music we always listened to when we were growing up in Europe. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Taft happened to be also interested in the same style. So So we was essentially the origin of the band was really play power metal, even covers, without major aspirations. Like we just went out there, we wanted to play some clubs. That's where bands saw us. And then eventually we started to write music, and since the mutual influences were all of these power metal, European influences, we essentially started to come up with some songs, and then we decided to take it a little bit more, creatively seriously, and then we started to release our own material, and that's how it all started, but really without many aspirations. The big goal was really to play shows and play power metal. That was the main goal. So yeah. Simple. That's the origin.
And how about some of the others? How did you come join the band?
Javi both grew up in Spain and didn't know one another in Spain, but then you met one another in Boston after you both immigrated. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. So both Javier and I actually are in Boston. We were in Boston because we are both scientists, and Boston is a big hub of scientific activity. So Javier was both me and I actually we were doing our postdocs at Harvard Medical School when we were essentially partying, and so I used to be a drummer in heavy metal bands back in Spain. I arrived in Boston, it's just empty. There is no heavy metal. It's all like thrash metal and death metal and all that kind of obscure things. And I'm like, where is like the thing that I like? There's nothing. There's not even clubs that would like spin heavy metal. And so I was kind of desperate to get back into heavy metal, and I'm addicted to heavy metal. And so the way for me to get it out is to really start a band. And so it turns out I'm at a party, and I used to wear short hair back then. And then I see this long-haired dude at the party. It's a party of the Spanish scientific community. And I was like, hey, do you play guitar? And he's like, well, I actually play bass, but I would like to say guitar. And it's like, oh, let's chat. And it turns out that he used to jam with a former member of my former band in Madrid. So we immediately bonded. We actually played in the same clubs. We knew the same community. We started chatting, and then we essentially decided to start jamming. I had a practice spot in Boston. He wanted to play guitar. We put a Craigslist ad back in the day, because we knew no one, right? And then Jeff Taft happened to pop into the Craigslist. He's like, hello, I also like the kind of influences you guys are looking for. And so that was literally the beginning. But you're right, Alex, that's a funny story. We actually bonded on metal, literally, and we actually had some previous experiences together we didn't know about. And so that's pretty much how the whole thing really started, at that party. And one funny fact, that party was a jamon eating party. So I don't know if you guys know what jamon is.
Oh, it's
so jamon, right? This is the Spanish prosciutto, right? So the Spaniards that are living away from home, they are very homesick for certain things of their country. And I happen to be married to a Spaniard, and I lived in Spain for a long time, although I'm originally from Moscow. And so I kind of understand their kind of patriotism in that space. And they celebrated by eating. And so this was one of the parties. We were invited. A dude was cutting jamon, and everybody was just eating to their full. And it was at that party that I met this guy, Javier. It was a very, very unique kind of, I would say experience. But that's how Adamantis started, on a ham party.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And also my daughter was born. So Adamantis officially started in November 2018, but my daughter was born in August of 2018. So I was also kind of juggling this thing. I'm a first-time dad, and also I'm starting a band. Isn't this crazy? And so it was. So at the beginning, it was really like looking at guitar profiles. Well, I remember looking at guitar profiles, editing the first songs from the EP, where I was sitting on the chair with my daughter here, and literally balancing her onto the beat. One of the first songs we ever wrote was Thundermark. Yeah, and it was like, taka. There was this kind of beat. And I remember vividly, sitting in front of the computer with a one-bedroom apartment in Somerville, and just trying to keep the beat so that my daughter can sleep and I can just work on the songs. Yeah.
That's awesome. Cool story.
Was 120?
It's okay.
Yeah,
You had your son, and he seems like a solid 140 BPM rapper.
I don't know. He's strong. He could be like one of these Doom, the Hammer of Doom kind of dude. You know. Anyway.
Cool story. And bringing me back a little bit, I'm in software as my full-time job, and I used to manage a team in Barcelona a few years ago, and I have fond memories of eating lots of jamón and lots of seafood tapas while I was there. So that's a fun story.
So where at? Because that's where Javier lives now, in Barcelona. So we may want to understand a little bit better that connection. Maybe you can also hop on, and talk to Javier at some point. So yeah, Javier's in Barcelona full time now. So.
Oh, cool! It's a beautiful city. I haven't been in a couple of years, but really cool place to be.
And,
cool. How about some?
We all still like Javi. He's not in the band full time because he lives across an ocean from the rest of us, which is totally understandable. But he's always throwing us ideas, and he came back to Boston recently, and most of us were able to hang out and whatnot.
Yep. Oh, cool.
Javi's still in the crew. Yeah.
Well, Alex, since you were talking, maybe I could start with you. I'd love to know the other three band members here on the interview. How did you kind of find your way into the band?
Well, here in New England, I kind of market myself as Alex Bass Slut, and I do lots of fill-in and last-minute gigs, find my way into everybody's band eventually. So when Vance joined, they were reassembling the lineup kind of, and they didn't have a bass player at the time, and then of course word got around, hey, you guys need a bass player, but nobody's hit up Alex yet, and ta-da, then I showed up with a six-pack and half of the riffs learned, and that was good enough to hang with the guys, so...
Didn't take much.
Yeah, the six-pack really cushioned my...
Our bar is so low.
The second you walked in with the beer, we were sold, man.
Our bar is low in terms of music, but we need someone who brings beer. So that was Alex was a perfect choice.
Adamantis, powered by beer.
Yeah,
powered by beer and swords. Yeah.
How about
No, I'm joking. Alex, by the way,
like
don't take it lightly. Alex actually is a very impressive bass player. Not only because he actually composes and knows a ton of bass lines. He actually also very impressive on stage. This is the kind of thing that you always want in a band. Someone who is going to be extremely aggressive on stage, very putting himself forward. The last thing I want to see in a local show is somebody who essentially looking at his guitar as he is practicing at home. And Alex is the antagonist of that. Alex will throw that, practicing at home guy out of the window. He's the guy who will be in front of your face, telling you, hey, look at me, look at my, fingers running around. He's got that energy that you really want for a live show. So, and at the same time playing really, really well. So it's really a perfect choice.
It tends to rub off on us a bit, he's got that kind of energy. I think it helps the whole dynamic.
I don't let anybody kill. You're not allowed to on my stage. If I'm up there, you're having some fun about it.
Right.
That seems to be a thing with bass players.
With Evgeny a lot. That's the rare drummer appreciation moment. I love to go in the back and make sure he's still awake back there. Not falling asleep on his kicks.
I love this guy. He's the best bass player we ever had. All of were great, but he's the best.
Well, no, Javi's the best bass player you ever had.
Well, he didn't play bass, but yeah.
But he was a good guitarist, so...
He was, Anyway, next question.
Let's hop on to Vance. He's a new guy, too. He'll tell you about the journey.
So I just go to a silly amount of local shows. I was constantly, before I was in Adamantis, I had a lot of free time, and I was going out to shows 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week. There was always shows going around in Providence and Boston, so I just knew a lot of people in the scene. And for me, it was just a total word of mouth thing. It was actually Carmine. This guy Carmine, there's a band called CX. Yeah, they're a Massachusetts-based kind of speed metal band. They're great. This guy Carmine is the singer, and I just ran into him randomly at a show, and he's like, "Hey, any chance you'd be interested in playing guitars in Adamantis? I heard they're looking." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And he ended up giving me Evgeny's information, and we talked, and here we are. But yeah, it was really thanks to Carmine, I guess, of thinking back. So yeah, shout out to Carmine.
We're all big Carmine fans. I've done like a bunch of cover sets with Carmine. He's another guy, brings it on stage, looks good, has a great attitude about it. He comes by with all the yes!
How about you, Jeff?
Yeah, so I came in 2020, did an audition a while back, and then I don't know what happened from there, but yeah, Evgeny more or less, he hit me up, I think through Messenger a while, asking if I wanted to come out, and it's like, sure, I had nothing going on at the time, it was kind of in the middle of something, nothing, I don't know, but figuring things out, but yeah, so...
Didn't have enough swords. You needed that
yeah,
next bit.
that's what it was. I was swords in my life, and so here comes Evgeny with swords, and here I am. But no, so yeah, I ended up coming over to his place. Actually, I met all the guys, and I think we listened to, just kind of the instrumental part of the first album, Far From Rome, and I was sold, right away. They had beer too, so don't worry, that was still involved. But yeah, and we had some practices. COVID, of course, hit, and we kept writing though, and got the album out, and here we are, 6.5 years later, so still going stronger than ever. I like to think. We're getting out there doing a lot, so we're having a good time.
Yeah.
And yeah.
And then Connor's the fresh guy in the band. We met him through mutual friends. Jack Costco is a guitarist here in New England, and he also plays
Seven
for
Spires.
Seven Spires. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I know Jack very well.
We're
Super
big
nice guy.
Jack fans.
Super talented.
Yeah, the whole crew is really great. And Jack had recently stopped teaching guitar, at least for a little bit, and passed all of his students on to Connor. So that's like how they were all in the mix together, and then Jack heard that we were looking for a fresh guitarist without Connor and without Javi rather, and recommended Connor, and we brought him into the fold.
Well, we were looking for a guitarist without Connor too at the time.
Yeah.
So you're right.
At the time, Connor was
But yeah, no. Connor's been great though.
and he's a writer too, which is good. We very much needed that. Javi wrote most of Reforged. Like, with us, we were all in the jam room doing it, but he definitely came through with most of the core ideas for the album. And we knew we didn't just need another lead guitar player. We needed another guy to embody and, like, be a full-time part of the band and give us ideas and things like that. And Connor was more than willing to step up. He started writing material more in our style, and we started working on some new stuff. Whenever we do a new album, it's going to be very different. Like, I'm
It's gonna be
excited.
sick. I'm looking forward for it. Can't wait to hear what comes out of this.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We cut the European power metal out by 25% by cutting 25% of the Europeans out of the band. So it's definitely going to be more like straightforward American power metal kind of thing. Just by the nature of who's in the fucking band now.
Drumming, right?
Yeah. Don't worry, Blind Guardian's still at the bottom.
Well, that's probably a good segue to my next question. What are some of each of your biggest musical influences? Like, usually a band, especially a collaborative, writing style band will, you'll each bring kind of your favorites and kind of bring that all to the mix. What would you say each of your biggest influences are?
This is a good Evgeny question.
Yeah, I'll start maybe, and then we'll go the full circle again, right? So, hey, I think I already told you, like, I am a very simple guy. I like heavy metal, so definitely, Defenders of Steel is probably my top 3 album ever going to. But then, if you go from, the classical Judas and Iron Maiden, all of the things that they composed in the glory days, I am a big fan of the 90s European power metal, especially the 90s German power metal. I'm not so much into the Italian stuff or the Nordic stuff. I'm really, really, really hardcore. The quintessential Halloween, Gamma Ray, Blind Guardian, Don't Get Me Out of the German Borders kind of power metal, right? Mm-hmm. Anything that sounds Italian. And actually that's the big fight between me and Connor, because Connor is much more of an Italian influence. He's like, Luca Turilli and Rhapsody are like his, on his pedestal of gods, and I'm like, And so that's where I come from. And you know why? Because I also like thrash metal, despite what Alex thinks. And the beauty of German power metal is because they're really merging, especially bands like early Blind Guardian and even early Halloween, right? If you listen to early Halloween, like, Walls of Jericho, they have these rough, super speedy attitude of the thrash metal, but with much more melody and like epic choruses. That's really the sweet spot that I really go for. Like the earliest albums of Halloween, earliest albums of Blind Guardian, for me, like top shelf material ever written in metal music. Period. Next question.
Yeah, there's definitely still like a lot of that in Adamantis. Like that's why I pointed towards you, because that's like the core of the sound kind of thing. And then we all had very different stuff now. Like Vance is very much a power metal dude too. Evgeny and Vance bond all the time over that in the band van, throwing songs back and forth. I like weird shit.
Yeah, let's hear from that Vance, right? Vance, what are your biggest musical influences, right?
I mean, like growing up, the bands were like undisputably like Megadeth and Iron Maiden. Like I just listened to them on like repeat. And but then as I started getting older, you know, I definitely love power metal, but I feel like a lot of like modern power metal, like it's changed so much, you know, and I'm not so much into like the Sabatons and the Powerwolves and like the, you know, Beast in Black and stuff. I feel like a lot of that to me is like borderline like pop music, you know, with the guitar solo. It's not bad, but it's not my thing. I need it to be like, I need riffs, you know. And so like I love like the heavier style of power metal, and yeah, and I'm definitely a thrash guy as well. I'm also in another band called Maidenhead, which is very like just straight up like thrash, like death metal, and yeah, I love riffs. There's got to be good like headbangable riffs, you know, and that's what a lot of the old school like Blind Guardian and Halloween is, you know. It's I guess they called it like kind of speed metal more than like power metal back then,
yep.
And that's kind of more my thing. But yeah, also you know, big shout out to like Jason Becker. I feel like when I was younger, I was like huge into Jason Becker, and you know, he got like the ALS and like couldn't practice and shit, and then despite that, like he still made music, and I'm like, if this guy has the motivation to do that after everything that's happened, then I'm like, I have no excuse to not be practicing. So yeah, let's get my shit together and sweep.
Hell yeah.
Oh, cool. How about you, Alex and Jeff?
Yeah. And then I like kind of off the wall stuff. I like pop music. Like Taylor Swift and the Cat Empire have been my most like aggressive spins lately, and I'm into like the structure of music. Being a bassist, like it's not necessarily like the bass lines have to be cool in the music I like, but the way all of the instruments interact with one another, I really appreciate. So a lot of that comes through with like softer styles of music, like pop music, and then when you do heavy metal, it's just this wall of sound. Everybody hits together, and that's cool. I like it. But it's, I feel like there's a lot of different stuff to draw on, especially when you're on bass and you're kind of like creating the bottom end for everybody to fool with. Drawing from other genres gives you some other, just some more avenues to explore.
100%.
But I mean, Vance mentioned Megadeth, and that was totally a bonding moment for the two of us. Like,
yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of rock you like, you gotta like Megadeth, man. They go so hard.
Absolutely.
I know, Jeff, you like some weird stuff too.
I like a lot of weird stuff, but you know, also just to keep it, you know, kind of within the realm. Yeah, probably one of my favorite bands and influences would be Iron Maiden and Bruce, you know, in that sense. But then I go weird stuff too. Like I like the Megadeths and all that, but then, you know, I'm also kind of a goth industrial fanatic too. So I'm kind of completely way out there in a dark corner as well. So. Amongst that kind of things, but you know, along with what we were talking about, though, Maiden definitely was probably one of the biggest influences, even vocally, I guess, you know, without really thinking about it at the time, but it definitely is there. And Halloween, I've always been a huge fan on, you know, for forever, and I think that's definitely a big one for me too. I go on forever with the weird stuff, and we don't have time for all that. So nobody wants to hear that stuff.
No.
I'm kind of the rebel.
No, that's
fan.
cool.
A lot of times everybody will be like on the most recent tour, we listened to the new Halloween album. Man, I've never fallen asleep faster. I went out real fast in the back of the band van when it was Halloween time for a couple hours.
That's why I like Beast in Black with that show, Halloween.
And I thought Beast in Black was awesome. They were doing some really cool like hi-hat shit, like talk about hidden layers and whatnot. It just didn't riff hard enough for Vance.
Yeah, it's interesting how people can gravitate to different things. One of the things that has been interesting for me is I was more of a power, symphonic, and prog fan. And as I've done my metal today, I've actually expanded my horizons quite a bit. I listen to a lot more doom now. I listen to a lot more post metal, a lot more even death metal and things like that. So I've definitely broadened my horizons quite a bit, and it's fun. I love hearing bands that bring a lot of different influences together because you can do a lot of cool things, and it's one of the things I like about metal in general is there almost are no boundaries. I was talking with who was Shadow Strike. I posted their interview yesterday, actually, and we had this whole random tangent about how nothing is over the top or too ridiculous for power metal, and just how people can bring so many different things. But it's true. Like it's really cool to see what people will bring to the table.
Yeah. That's one of the great things about writing collaboratively.
Yes, exactly. So then, maybe now that we've kind of heard some of the influences, and sorry, Evgeny, I muted you because there was a lot of background noise. I'll unmute you now. So I'll probably start with you first.
Poor Boston guy.
How would you describe the Adamantis sound to a new listener who has never heard of you before? How would you? Yeah. Where would you start?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question, right? I think we are, one of the things that you will always listen in the album, and maybe that goes back to the origin story. We were aiming to be on stage. The idea since the beginning was to write songs that we could deliver on stage or could be effective on stage. And so across the board, what you see is this blend of direct music that would essentially aiming to grab you. If you don't know anything about the band, you show up at the gig, and then suddenly there is this riff, there is this chorus you kind of connect to. The idea was always connected with the audience. So because of that reason, we actually drove very heavily into classic heavy metal structures and attitude. There is a lot of classical heavy metal components in our song. Just because the point of the music, as we always wanted to be, is to make it a fun experience to the listener, right? Just directly out there on stage. Take Steelclad from the last album, or even Thundermark from our first EP. The whole idea is there, right? Just be direct. There's a very direct classic heavy metal inspired power metal, though. We do have, more power metal elements than classical heavy metal bands that you could go with. It's not new. We're not trying to imitate Maiden or Judas. It's not we are not in that trend of new wave of traditional heavy metal, let's put it that way. Because of some of the other elements that we add, we like a little bit more complexity. Some of the songs also will sound, very exploratory. We have done the explorations in the musical realms outside of the classical heavy metal or even power metal space. We played around with doom. We played around with, almost prog elements. We like to incorporate that stuff. But if there is something quintessential, is kind of 90s Euro power metal tinted classical heavy metal. It's too many layers, perhaps. Yeah.
I like that each album has its own variety. Each album has a different core songwriter kind of thing. The first album is a lot of Jeff and Javi working together, and that to me feels very much like a heavy metal / power metal smorgasbord. Just throw all of the ingredients that we can think of into this and see how people like it. And then Storm the Walls, the EP, is a little more folk metal. It's got more melodic and longer phrases in it. And House Carpenter, which is just a 21-minute epic folk jam, that one goes pretty hard. And then the newest album, Reforged, has a message. All of the songs are linked together harmonically, they all flow very well, and they really have this one core idea that we keep going back to. So it's a more mature album. It's a little slower than Far From Realm in some places and a little faster in others, but it just feels more like a cohesive package. So yeah, the three releases being so different from one another definitely gives it some variety.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
And the next one's going to be stupid fast speed metal. So let's see where the future goes.
That's cool, and it's cool how you're kind of exploring as you go along, because there definitely has been some different feels as you've gone through the discography. So, actually, great segue for the next question. Let's talk about Reforged. Your latest album came out last year. Can you walk a little bit through the approach to it? You kind of hinted at it here or there, but maybe a little more of a double click into the approach to writing the album, how each of you contributed to it, and then kind of ultimately, what led to the kind of the evolution to the sound that you have on that one? Because as you just said, you kind of have walked through some different sounds and feels as you've gone through the evolution of the band.
I think the goal with that one, especially for Javi, who wrote most of the tracks on there, was to write a cohesive album, like an album that sounds like one product from beginning to end, kind of thing. And there's so much more of that than in the previous releases. They were kind of as many different ideas as we can draw from and throw together, whereas Reforged is like, this sounds good. This is a 45-minute thing we can deliver.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And I, by the way, I actually realized there is a technical issue here. My mic is not coming from here, so that's why you guys may hear a little bit of noise and a very horrible thing on your end. But apology for that. Trying to troubleshoot that while we speak. But it's not only the cohesiveness. Javi also is very interesting, right? This was the first time we had him really take the center stage of songwriting. Yeah. And we also let him, Javi is one of my best friends, and my daughter and his daughter are best buddies. So I really tried to ask Javi, do whatever you want. Within the realms of the genre, he likes a lot of prog metal, so don't sound like hacking, but try to do whatever you want. So there is also a lot of that.
As you would let him, though, he really pushed that boundary.
I know, right?
That's not a bad band to bring influences from. They're fantastic.
He had a lot of ideas that were like a little too proggy, though, and we had to rein him in.
Signature key change that is in every song, kind of thing, and for me, that's so inspiring. Most metal songs are like, here's the key, and then you do a solo in E minor, because of course you do. So to have this awesome twist find its way into every song. The first time you hear it, it pulls your ear, and you're like, oh, that's weird. But when you're on the fourth track and you hear it again, it's just the way the song goes. You're already prepped for this move, kind of thing. So that's something that creating a whole album that's a product allowed us to do that creating individual songs wouldn't have, is readjust your ears to this new sound we're trying to deliver.
It's a little interesting too, for sure.
Gives you a cool dramatic
the musician in me.
Vocals. There's definitely a few times where we hit the key change and then your vocals just go way up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't even know if you notice it as a key change, but you do notice it as oh, this is an emotional moment. It's time to go full send right here.
Yeah, the musician in me always loves a key change. In fact, a lot of times, when that happens if you read any of my album reviews, I will almost always call out a key change in a song because I get excited about it. When it's done well, it just makes sense. Sometimes it can be forced and it doesn't feel right, but when you're sometimes it adds more emphasis. It sometimes makes it feel more epic. It makes it sound bigger because now you've just kind of escalated a little bit. A good key change is such a great musical mechanic.
Yeah. And it's like an advanced musical mechanic. It's not something that everybody who picks up a guitar can do. Doing an intentional key change takes some practice. And I just appreciate Javi and his writing for that.
Yeah, it's such a natural change too. I feel you don't even know what's happening, and there it is. Oh wow, what just happened? This is so cool. And I think that was kind of the endearing part of his writing too. It is different in all the best ways possible, and I think that's also why we're happy to still have him somewhat involved too, whenever he's able to throw us ideas, because I know he's got some ideas he has been throwing us. So, and that's a blessing right there, just having him still also involved in a little bit of the writing along with Connor and everybody else, because the majority of us bring in something to the table, maybe an idea, but like I said, the last album was primarily mostly a hobby, coming with the ideas, and all of us working it together as a group.
Yeah, it was never just Javi wrote this song and then let's play it. He came with these ideas, and then we kind of cooked it as a band, and we would kind of play them and then tinker with them and stuff, and there was feedback from everyone as we worked through ideas.
Yeah. Javi dropped Reforged in the band chat, and Evgeny was like, "Oh, this is perfect."
Yeah. Don't change a thing.
Yeah. Original that one, the working title was German Power Dump. So Evgeny was so hyped to play that song.
Actually, that was actually Right for Ruin.
Yeah, that was Right for Ruin.
That was Right for Ruin. Okay.
And Reforged was almost an industry plant. Like I told Javi, we have a lot of these key changes. Now let's write a straightforward German power metal song, please. And he said, okay.
Stuck a different key change. And
he's like, and it took us literally like, I wrote the drums on my own, like without knowing what the melody would be. So I literally said, Javi, this is a German power metal song. I can write you the drums. So I went into the studio and I just wrote a song just on drums with all of the beats that I wanted. 150 BPM and then just the beats. And then I throw it to him and say, Javi, you know what to do. He's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you want. And then he kind of wrote the song almost in 48 hours. And he sends me the almost the fully fleshed song. I was like, yep, that's what you want. Like, yes, this is my German power dump.
Dumping it on you.
That's the thing about Javi. Like he could do these things very easily, and then he would really elaborate on some much more, kind of more musician kind of focused material. But I really wanted at least one direct song, and that's the one, the German power metal dub.
It's a great song.
Cool.
One of
probably my favorite,
if not favorite. Yeah, it's a blast. It's just a good one, a good listen to.
And then Steelclad kind of had a funny story originating from Evgeny as well. Like, he popped into the band chat with a voice message for a totally different song where he's like, okay, I'm thinking the drums can go like boom, ba-da, boom, boom, da, boom, ba-da, boom. And then we segue into these vocals, blah, 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 blah. And I heard the message and I was just like, oh, but that's actually like a sick drum beat. Let's make a whole song out of that drum beat. So I programmed it out and started working on stuff, and I don't know, that ended up being the rhythm from Steelclad, and then I just took as many Javi ideas as I could for the harmonics and the riffs, and I stuck them in from the other angle. And that's a new song. You take a rhythm from someplace and harmonies from another, and then you smash them together, boom, call it a day. And then we did a lot of arranging on Steelclad, me and Evgeny. We went through and readjusted just about every riffs and found new chord changes and things like that, and went through real detailed, which is fun. I like we can all pass ideas around the band space too. Like nobody's too embarrassed to be like, this doesn't flow here. Like if it doesn't flow here, somebody in the band is going to say something about it, and that's good. Like we should criticize and grow the songwriting.
Yeah, there's no egos. Like someone brings in an idea, they expect and they hope we go in there and we kind of do our thing and here's your song. And it's I think kind of the main way a lot of the songs have been written, like with Javi or you or whoever comes up with an idea. Cool, now let's try this. Let's mold it into an Adamantis song, and there you go.
Yeah.
So it's great having people who can write, people who don't have any egos like that, and also people who are more than happy to collaborate and make what we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. The collaborative approach, I think, works so well. And again, it's kind of how you get to bake in different people's ideas. And a lot of times, you'll get some cool idea that you wouldn't have thought of if you hadn't kind of brought all the minds together. And a lot of times, that's where sometimes even a really unique section in a song might come out. So I love that. Yep. Jeff, I have one follow-up question for you, actually. From a vocal standpoint, every vocalist, of course, has their idols. They have the folks that they like listening to. And maybe emulate is too strong of a word, but there's always people who inspire. I'm curious, was there any specific kind of vocal approach or vocal inspiration that you were taking when you were, for this album specifically, for Reforged?
Honestly, I think just kind of doing what I do. Obviously, like I mentioned, one of my influences, Bruce Dickinson, of course. And then, another huge influence, is not even close into this realm, is like Mike Patton. I think that guy is like the switchblade singer. He can do anything. And then, talking to Prague, I listened to Live Dream Theater and stuff growing up. So. But I think, with the style, I think the inner Bruce comes out more naturally just because it fits. And of course, I bring my Stark sound, whatever you want to call it. I'm not really trying to emulate anything, but it seems like kind of a natural progression when I'm writing with the riffs that they're bringing in. So and I like get the highs and go with the lows and try to bring a nice wave of different sounds and approach, so it's not just the same all the time.
One thing I like that you did on this album that you hadn't done previously as much is stacked vocals.
Yeah.
There's like 24 Jeffs on Reforged.
We hear all the gang type things.
It's just layers and layers and layers of Jeffs. So that's
octaves.
one thing that he experimented and pushed pretty hard on this album that I thought came out really good. You hear it right from like the second track when Steelclad hits.
Yeah.
That one has some awesome doubled vocals that to me sound almost like a Baroness song. So that was very like ear catching to me, and also a challenge to do live because Jeff's the only singer in the band, and me and Connor can fake it kind of sorta on good days. So it's definitely like a fun challenge to rise to.
Try to get them to work on those highs more.
Hey, I'm on bass. All right, the lows sound solid. That's where I'm trying to be. Don't push me out of my octave. I'm very comfy here.
My voice is like my instrument. It's
Yeah.
low.
Well, cool. Well, it was kind of touched on during one of the song deep dives that we just did, but what's each of your favorite song from this latest album and why?
I think Alex is ready.
Well, I mean, it's gonna
Or
be
Vance. Vance has a
Yeah, Vance, you speak up.
he has been quiet for a while.
I mean, I would say the
Ruin
most
first.
fun to play. Yeah, the most fun for me is absolutely Ride for Ruin. It's just pure like power metal, but it's not like cheesy. It's just kind of like more like aggressive power metal, and that's what I live for. It's so much fun to play, and I love that song.
fucking Jeff Loomis solo.
Yeah, and we did have a Jeff Loomis guest solo on there, which is great. And yeah, me and Connor do it, and it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
There's an awesome like a little guitar harmony at the end, like a guitar harmony. It's fucking.
Cool. Well, I'll take it next, and I'll let the guys speak. I mean, for me, I think the title track, like I'm going back and forth from the album, and the title track is the one that sticks all the time, mainly because it's the fastest song, and I'm really, at some point I told you, right, that I like the 90s power metal. My favorite band from the 90s is Blind Guardian, and at some point I took lessons from the original drummer of Blind Guardian, Tom and the Omen Stouch, and I'm like not a 1,000th fraction of a drummer that Tommen is, but anytime I go and approach a song, I want to have elements that I could use some of the licks that I learned from Tommen. And that was the song. And so the whole point of this song was actually, Javi wrote the melody, and I was like, well, you're going to put it 10 BPM faster, and we're going to make it a Black Guardian beat. And so that was my attempt, to really execute on the beats and the licks and the things that I've been learning from Tommen. So from the Playing It is one of my favorite songs. But then also the lyrics, right? I kind of worked on the lyrics on this one, and I really wanted to get like an epic tribute to the sword that features in the Silmarillion, the third part of Silmarillion, which actually also features in our cover. And it's Narsil, used to be called Narsil, but then it was reforged as Anduril, right? And you probably, if you know the Tolkien lore, it's the quintessential sword in the whole saga of the Lord of the Rings, right? If there is no Narsil, Catin, the Hand of Sauron, there will be no story, right? It's literally the sword that actually vertebrates the whole thing that happens. But also very poetical because it breaks at that time, and then the shards are being used as this almost Christian relic of Christian cross for hundreds of years, and they are being then reforged for the true heir to the throne to bear. And it's just because the sword is being reforged that he can actually summon the armies of the undead that are bound to him to actually win on the final battle, and then essentially rise to the throne and conquer evil forever. So if you think about Narsil and Anduril is the quintessential vertebration of the whole story. Without it, nothing can happen. So I tried to write the lyrics about that and project that in the song. And so I really took a lot of time thinking about how we could embody the epic message of that within one song, but it's like not even 6 minutes long. So it took a lot of time for me to kind of figure that out. So I'm really proud of what it came out, and so that's my favorite song for all of those reasons.
Oh, cool. Cool stuff. Let's go to Alex and Jeff.
I think I'd go with Funeral for a King, specifically for playing it live. I know it's the slow song, and I can see people shocked about it, but I really like Funeral for a King live because...
There's no vocals, that's why.
No, stop it. It's because everybody does vocals. Like, when we really sell it hard and the crowd is on our side, it has such a memorable guitar
really
line that everybody will sing it back to us, and man, that fills the heart. Like,
It's a noodle gets into your head, and
Yep.
you don't lose it.
Yeah.
I think.
yeah, so that's a real special song to me. I don't know if we're gonna do it at Grillfest, but sometimes we'll like also do a vocal rendition of it as an outro, and that always feels, well, doesn't always, it can feel really, really good. Sometimes if we haven't like sold the song sufficiently, there's just a bunch of people looking back at us while we're like, please sing, yeah! But yeah, when that song hits live, it hits so hard, and it's not a song that I would expect myself to like. Like, in the back of my head, whenever I think about it, it should be like the break song, you know, like, you play this song, you hang out for a little bit, we got cool stuff coming up later, but when that becomes the hype song of the night, like, it moves me. I like it. And you're running out of tracks to pick. Now
I know. Well, Vance already took the one I really enjoyed, on that right through, and that's of course it's a great one. Still glad we play live. We got Reforged on there. Evgeny mentioned so. But yeah, no, right through, definitely. Midvale's actually a fun one. It's a slower one, but at least vocally, there's a few different things going on there that I really enjoy, where I can actually just get all power, and it's just a great way to end. That set in some ways, at least for me.
Yeah.
Again, it's a slower song, but I really enjoy performing that one. Probably, up there with Ride Through and what we do live. Again, it's just
Yeah, there'd be a close second for me as well.
Cool
It's a lot of fun to play.
People really like Mikkelgard live too. Like, it's a more dynamic song than most of the tracks. Most of the tracks have like one message, and we do that a lot. But Mikkelgard has like several different feelings that we move through, and I think people really like those dynamic changes, like the loud to quiet, and then we'll stop. We'll do a hey chant, and then we'll bring back the riff.
There's so many dynamics in that song. It's a ripping song. I like it.
Yeah. Definitely like a live track. Like, if you heard Mikkelgard on the album and you're like, oh, it's okay, fucking come out and see us live, we will sell it to you.
I love it. Love it. Well, you mentioned it, and it's the purpose for this interview, or at least the motivation for it, Grillfest. So you all are playing Grillfest, here in just 2.5 months or so, not even 2.5 months, actually almost exactly 2 months now. It's kind of crazy. Kind of maybe walk through how did that come to be, and what are each of you most excited about for Grillfest?
All right, so I think the whole connection was really. I mean, I knew John from the scene, right? And I've been speaking and talking to him about different things, and so he hit me up and we spoke about Grillfest the first time, and I said, well, we cannot just fly to Utah easily, right? So there's some elements that we need to consider, but we were interested in playing, and then it came. It sounds like John could manage it for this year, so we were excited about it. So we were excited about doing this to begin with, and then also we have Connor, who is also good friends with John, and they also spoke about it. So I think that's how the thing really came by. So, and of course John knew about us, right? So we're not an unknown band in the scene precisely. So I think he was also excited to have us on board. And yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Just.
And what are you looking forward to?
Grillfest. I hear there might be some rock bands or something, but I'm going for the grills.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like
grills, and it has some other function. There's wrestling going on, which if people know me, I'm a big wrestling nerd, as well as Connor. We bond in our wrestling stuff big time.
I don't know what the problem housing is, but you guys,
Danhausen.
you guys cannot stop. But yeah, there was definitely like a plethora of inside jokes that I was not allowed to be a part of in the band this year. And I don't know if I like it too much.
Also, the armored battles is going to go on with the fighting too. Like that's
a strong
sweet
theme for us this year. There's a lot of combat going down in the Adamantis camp.
It's perfect, it's fitting, and again, just because I said it already, I'm going to end up the food because it's grill and it's a fest. And, and of course playing. I look forward to always playing.
Not to even better out. When we're well fueled up on some barbecue, right?
Yes.
That's post show for me.
No, I want some Utah cheese. That's what I'm there for.
Utah cheese?
That Midwest
Wisconsin, man.
What is that?
We're in the neighborhood.
Utah cheese. Well, I have to ask John about that. What's Utah cheese?
Well, while I'm in Utah, y'all are just going to have to show me what's worth seeing in the state, all right? Feed me good. I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
Whatever
right.
the local specialty is, I expect copious amounts of it.
But also, if you think about the lineup, I don't know if Vance you were about to mention, but I'm also excited to see the bands that we are playing with. Like, there's like, you know, I mean, Judicator is a massive band. Like, you know, since, you know, Alicia, you know, when she was in the band, writing those albums, those are like one of the top shelf US power metal release in the last 10 years, like hands down. And you know, and not only because they like Black Garden, which is my favorite band, but also because of that. And so, you know, and now Alicia coming back, being this the reunion show, like to me this is like a big event for the US power metal community. So back in the day when I was still a postdoc and not even started at Adamantis, I used to log into the US Power Metal Connection Facebook group that kind of went down at some point. And then Alicia used to be very active there, and Jeff Taft used to be very active there. Actually, that's how I met both online back in the day, even before even starting the band, and we were chatting. And many of the people who are now also, you know, driving important bands like, you know, Dire Peril and, you know, Helium Prime, you know, they were there. Like all the kind of the community was there. It was quite cool, and you know. I was like, wait a minute, these people not only are great musicians, coming from Europe, not only great musicians, but they also understand our European power metal much better than many of the Europeans do, you know. One of the things that I actually was impressed by people like Alicia is like the depth of knowledge that these people have about the music that we used to just jump to in the clubs, because we used to go to clubs and get drunk, you know, drunk with the buddies, and then what do you have in the club? Well, Blind Guardian spin, and then you're just like, well, this is cool. These guys actually are like more of scholars. Like there was something very cool. I'm a scholar for science, right? I study neuroscience, but I don't do scholarship for heavy metal. Right? Right. And so suddenly you kind of go into this. You start to listen to these people talk, and like, wait a minute, this is like knowledge. This is like scholarship on power metal laid out. And so one of the interesting things about Judicator in particular is that these people not only play great music, they also know a lot about the musical style. They're trying to innovate in their own way within all of these elements, which makes it very, I think, very interesting, very unique, very, you know, very knowledgeable, essentially, band. And I'm a nerd, and I want to talk to them as well. I want to talk to Alicia, and I want to talk to John, and just chat about music and all of those musical nerdiness that I happen to know. But I know that they are also just very, you know, I can learn from them. Let's put it that way. They're like a musical encyclopedia. So to me, this is another interesting element of that. We also have other bands, right? We have Shadow Strike. We you know, whom I know, and actually in the first Far Flung Realm album. Not many people know, but Matt Kreis has a guest solo on one of the songs, and you know, it was a very impressive solo. I was like, when Jeff Taft brought Matt Kreis to the fold and asked him to play that solo, I was, you know, and their stuff is impressive. Like you listen to the albums, this is top level power metal. I'm really looking forward to see them live. So. And then there are other bands. Beholder, of course. That's another band that's been making waves last year, big time in the European press, especially. And that kind of doom power metal also hits very, very strongly with me. And I don't know. I think the lineup, even for one day, is stacked. So music-wise, I think this is just going to be like, one of the best probably shows of the summer, so if not the best.
Yeah, I mean, I come to these shows as like a fan, I'm just looking forward to seeing all the bands. I've known Judicator for a while. I've never seen them live. Shadow Strike is sick. I saw them in like Boston a couple years ago. They opened for like Seven Spires, like a Boston show a while back. They were like, I was super impressed. Like they were so good. And I'm just looking forward. I mean, honestly, I hadn't really heard of Grillfest. I mean, I live in Rhode Island, and I'm like, I wasn't really familiar with it. But then as soon as we were talking about it, I started looking into it. I'm like, this looks freaking awesome. I'm super excited.
I was sold by the name.
Yeah, it's a great lineup.
There's grills and there's festing
going
on. That's all you need. There's grilling and there's festing. There's also beer.
Yes, we can connect some dots here. It's going to be a good time.
It's just a never-ending. It's perfect.
Yeah, when I interviewed Judicator, I think Alicia described it as 3 of her favorite things: food, metal, and violence.
Perfect way to sum it up.
There is also plenty of hot sauce, Vance. I heard that, I've seen from John's post, vendors of ultra hot sauce that you can just kill you on a microgram. So you will be well served.
Big hot sauce connoisseur. I fuck with hot sauces. So.
Yeah, there's one called, I think, Burn Your Tongue. They recently started following me after I started doing some of these interviews, and they look like they got some pretty cool stuff.
Subtext.
Okay, if any guys are watching this,
one of
hit
those
me up.
right before a set and see how it goes. You're pretty fired up.
Here we go. We have an
Wait, something's out of my
Adamantis
mouth.
Burn Your Tongue collaboration coming.
You're not Rammstein. Take it easy. We don't have the budget. We can only do one of those shows, and then we got to find a new singer.
That's why we need the super hot sauce.
Oh, cool. Well, maybe one final quick question here. Obviously you had the new album come out last year, but you've already hinted that this next one's going to be it sounds like you're going to be raising the BPM level on this next album. So can you maybe just give a little more insight into how the writing process is going, and do you have any sort of timeline yet on when the next Adamantis album might be coming?
I think we're kind of focusing. We definitely have several songs in the workshop that are coming together pretty fast, but we're really focusing on a single right now. We want to put as much of our time and energy into writing one song and make it absolutely amazing to come out swinging for the next album. So yes, the whole new album is in the works, but right now we're just super focused on this one song. We call it Catchy Mantis is the working title. So we're trying to be catchy and still in our style kind of thing. And I think that's going to be a good framework for what we do with the next album. And I'm excited to see how the single goes. If we drop it and it's big, it's all right, all fast power metal tracks. If we drop it and nobody gives a shit, well, let's see what we can do with Doom. Let's rotate around and see after we see how the single goes.
Yeah, black metal now. Let's see. Let's try something we haven't tried before. Well, actually, pop is a good idea. My daughter brings me so many pop songs now. K-pop is great. We can just go K-pop and and I don't know, something completely. So we don't really have an answer yet.
Singers getting a K-pop album. So we need their $5.
Dude, K-pop is awesome. If our audience would have 9 years old, we would sell millions of albums. We would write a K-pop metal album.
So yeah, that is a threat. Watch out.
Watch out. Watch out for the news.
I think I just heard Adamantis Demon Hunter.
Adamantis Demon Hunter, yes. That's, Demon Hunter. I just came back from a trip to Quebec with the kids, and I swear I've not listened more K-pop in my life. And, it will go into the band playlist for the next tour, for sure, because they are bangers. They are bona fide bangers. There is a reason why, they get the Grammys and things, Those are bangers.
You can see
Vance is
low
low-key.
Yeah.
I think the rest of he's like, I just want riffs.
Yeah, like me and Connor have been talking about like me and Connor just both love guitar, so we just want guitar solos for days, and like guitar harmonies, and like I want to have like a guitar solo and then like a guitar harmony and then another guitar solo and then another guitar harmony, and that's and Connor's on board with that as well, and then we have Evgeny to kind of like rein us in a little bit, and like okay, we can have some solos, but like let's keep it coherent.
One solo, but you split the solo.
Yeah. If everybody shares, maybe we can make it 3.
We're trying to keep it under 5 minutes.
So I hear Vance just wants to like go all Dragon Force on everybody, and then everybody else wants to say, well, if Tommy Johansson can play Kpop Demon Hunter and do a cool power metal cover of it, then we can too.
I think there's a happy middle place. We can figure out the happy middle place.
You don't have to choruses and guitar solos. Like you can have your cake and eat it too with Adamantis.
No cake.
All right.
And won't eat it.
It's too hot.
We'll throw some ice cream on it too. It'll be fine.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Oh, any final thoughts from you all before we sign off here?
Shoot, well, me and Jeff are looking to get back in touch with our Mormon roots out in Utah. That ought to be funny. Half of my family tree moved out to Utah and then disappeared into the woods, so I'll see if I find any cousins out there.
Oh, man.
I was actually wondering about the hot sauce situation there. I'm like, there's got to be some good stuff out there. So
He's still thinking of hot sauce.
they're not letting me down there.
You mentioned hot sauce. He's ready.
Yeah, we lost him.
It's like we do the whole hour of just hot sauce talk.
I personally want to check out still so I was in Salt Lake City once 3 years ago, and actually went to the Salt Lake and saw the buffaloes and stuff. And I've been reading quite a bit about the situation of the Salt Lake, and there is actually a very interesting documentary out there about the ecological balance and the challenges that the area has. I mean, I am a biologist by training, so I'm kind of looking forward to see whether I can not skip, but do I have time during this visit to also do some visits to the lake and check it out again? I'm a little bit worried about the heat in September. But I think with proper attire and stuff and beer, I think we'll be fine. But yeah, I'm really looking forward.
We'll get out there.
Yeah, but really, it's the people, dude. Like, I don't know how many people we have met already in this journey. Like, Adamantis has been going for a while, right? And so I've played a number of festivals and a number of shows and a number of gigs. Like, if I would start counting gigs, I probably would not be able to count how many gigs I've played with this band. From like smallest gig, we only have like one person, which is the sound guy, to like big festivals with like maybe 1,000 people in the audience. Mm-hmm. And anytime I play, even for 1 people or for 1,000 people, what I really like is to meet those new fuckers. Like, meet that person who maybe has discovered us for the first time and is there on the merch table and trying to buy the album and asking me to sign it. Or maybe meet the guy who is like following us for 5 years on Facebook and like, yes, I finally got a chance to see you guys. And all of these day ups, and really, to me, honestly, that's what really makes all of this worth it. Because at the end of the day, this is all investment time, money, of course, etc. So not only the appeal of the festival for the fans is great, but for me as a musician, it's really to meet those who go there, not, to interact with them. Really that human one-to-one or one-to-many interaction. I think for me, that's the main, if not the sole reason I'm in this thing. I wouldn't call it business because we're not making no money. This is not a business. We lose money. Anytime we play, we lose money, honestly. This is not a business for the band. But it is live though. Like, it makes me feel alive much more than any other things I do.
Monetary.
Yeah,
And-
I'm in that boat too, where it's like, if we wanted to make money, we would be a studio band, but we're not. We want to be out there, we want to be with the people and meet the folks that enjoy our music and try to sell you on the music, like, kind of thing, and I want to hear your music and hang out with you and find out what makes it tick, like, it's all about the shared energy.
You can't put a price on living a passion. I think we're all very passionate about this in general, or we wouldn't be doing what we're doing and traveling, and
Yep.
it's rewarding. Like I said, aside from the monetary side of things, you can't put a price on, just the personal rewards from that and meeting the people in the community. I know Evgeny is big about that too, and I wouldn't change it. Of course, I won't turn down a few dollars, but naturally. But in the end, I just really enjoy. As long as we're able to keep doing it and able to sustain, that's all that really matters. And going on this journey together with, my brother's forged in metal. It's amazing, and it gets us out of our zones, and we get to go see some cool places and meet all sorts of random cool people, and it's.
We definitely have cooler vacations than casual.
Oh, for sure.
Casuals.
Yes.
Hope you guys enjoyed your trip to Disneyland or whatever. We're going out to the lakes where the grills are.
Yes.
Yep. No, cool stuff.
Makes us go
Cool
see
stuff.
things we would never have seen before otherwise.
Yep. Yeah, and all over the place.
Thank you all.
Props to Evgeny for keeping us on the road so aggressively. Like, we do absolutely travel a lot, and I'm so grateful for the opportunity to do that. Like, east to west coast, we did Delaware earlier in the year at an awesome Viking Mead Festival, and that was super fun.
Yes.
And then we're doing a West Coast tour. Last year we went to Greece, and I got to stay up in the mountains and watch the Greek shepherds move the lambs around that would later become dinner at the little one restaurant they have in the mountain village we were playing.
Which was really good.
Oh, that's fine.
This is the purpose of the band, right? So they just kind of to circle back, and sorry for the noise, but we started as a live band in mind, and the end is really living this idea of meeting the community. The community is out there, right? To me, the community is not the number of likes or spins or plays, and it's all important, right? It just keeps you there, but to me, it's really the community, the face-to-face, that kind of sweaty embrace that you get after a show. That's really what it makes it all worthwhile, and I'm really looking forward to do this. So, and thank you, David, for supporting the scene, man, big time. Thank you for doing this, really. I appreciate it.
No, absolutely. No, I'm happy to do it. I'm very passionate about the scene, and one thing I say a lot on these interviews is, if you like a band, you support them. Go support them at a live show. Go buy their merch, whether it's a T-shirt, physical media, a pin, a patch, whatever kinds of merch they have. But go support live music. That's you don't get these experiences any other way, and this is how we keep it going. Especially with the onslaught of AI slop and everything else coming out. Got to support live music. Support the real thing. That's why I do this too. Like I don't use any AI in what I'm doing. I'm very passionate about whether I'm writing an album review or doing an interview or a festival or a concert review. So support live music. It's what keeps us alive. To say what you said earlier, I agree. Like there's just something different about that you can't get from anything else.
Yep, I want to see you right up front, sweating and yelling with me.
Yes.
Don't hesitate. Come hang out.
Absolutely.
I challenge everybody to be the loudest person in that crowd.
Yeah.
There you go. I love it.
And you got to beat out our amps. Like
Yes.
we come. We don't come to play. All right,
Bring
we're
the
loud.
power.
Yeah, we're loud. So if you want to be louder than us, you get ready.
Old man, play on 10.
I love it.
Never gonna tear down again.
All right. Well, thank you all for your time. I really appreciate it as well. I know it takes effort to carve out the time, and we're coordinating West Coast and East Coast, so really appreciate all that. And everybody, let's stay metal.
That's easy. Can't
Cheers.
you? Horns up.
Yeah.
Real soon.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward
Thank you,
to the
David.
show.
Thank you.
Take care.